YouTube world. You already know who it is, and you already know what it is. It's your boy B, the outlier, and I'm right back up at you cats with another video. And it is Friday, Freaky Friday. Something strange about to happen on a Friday. Y'all know how I do. I just keep it real with you cats. Speak about the things that's happening in my life. Hopefully, you guys see something that you can gravitate toward. If you do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And who am I? I'm no better than you, my people. I'm just an average, regular human being trying to make him way through the world, man. Trying to make sense of all the crazy, crazy, crazy things that go on in the world, my people. I'm just like you. You dig? Yesterday, we had a great, great episode, man. We got like 700 and something views. I got about 6+ subscribers. That's what I call a very successful live, my people. And I keep my goals away from you cats, but I do want to get that 1,000 subscribers, man. I do want to get those 1,000 subscribers. We are like at 910 right now. So I'm going to be needing for about 90 of you people that come on to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, get me in that algorithm, my people. And we got one person on the check-in. When you check in, again, if I speak about something that catches you the right way, the wrong way, if you're indifferent about what I'm saying, drop it in the comment section. Let me know why you feel the way you feel. And also, what time is it, where you at? Also, where you're coming from, man, where you're coming from. And that's how we do it. That's how we do it. The fragrance of the day is Prada. Prada. It's a little scent called Milano. Milano by Prada. And this was a gift to me. This is a huge fragrance house, Prada. They make a lot of clothing. They are in high fashion. So I usually rock the niche fragrances. And niche fragrances are fragrances that aren't by the big houses. They also are kind of difficult to get your nose around. So again, niche fragrances, you're not really gonna get too many likes. It's gonna be dependent on the person who knows it hits. While these big brand fragrances like Prada, they do get more likes. So this is one where you can spray. People gonna come up around you. They're gonna be like, wow, yo, you smell good. And if that's what you're looking for in a cologne, then you're definitely gonna like Prada Milano because it's a professional scent. It is almost like an everyday scent that you could wear to work every single day. And as long as you don't put a whole bunch on you, then people definitely gonna be giving you your props. They're gonna be like, oh, you smell good. So if that's what you're looking for in a cologne, then this is definitely a good one. I've been rocking it for the last 2 days, and I've been getting good feedback. We got somebody on the check-in. Kevin Griffin, my boy, he's back. What up, Kevin? Good morning. What up, my man? How you feeling, brother? How you feeling? He's back on the check-in. What up, man? You gotta tell me where you from, Kev. You gotta tell me where you from, my brother. I know you from someplace in New York. You gotta be. As much as you know, you gotta be close to New York, man. Gotta be close to New York. So yeah, so that's the fragrance that we talking about. We're gonna speak about the health now. The health went good. I went to bed last night like I'm supposed to, around 6:30, 7 o'clock. Slept for a couple hours, woke back up, made me something to eat, went back to sleep. Woke up again about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're off to work. That's the way I've been doing it, man. And it's been real good on my body. I've been having a lot of energy. Been in on it, man, in on it, real good, you know? Next, we're going to speak about work, all right? And I'm going to get into this, and we're going to speak about this, man. We're going to speak about work and just people in general, man. People in general, and then it's just interesting, man. Just very, very interesting. And if I can, we're going to get into how nature creates complexity. How nature creates complexity. We definitely going to get into that. Somebody said, we on the check-in, somebody said, Lycinch 3096 said, New York kind of spooky. He said that New York is kind of spooky. You are the second person for consecutive days that speak about New York. Yesterday, they said New York was finished, that we done. And now we got a person saying that New York is spooky. When you say spooky, what do you mean? You're saying that we haunted? I know that's probably not what you mean. But yeah, what you talking about? when you say that New York is spooky. Yes, sir. Yeah, so we walking across the street. So how can I say this about work, man? How can I say this about work without really harming people, man? We'll look at it like this. I'm a baseball fan, right? I watch baseball, and I look at the Dodgers, the Los Angeles Dodgers, as an organization. Now, the Dodgers have a great organization, from the coaching staff to the players to the recruiters to the people who get the stats for the team. They know what to look at, they know what to look for, and they know what wins in the league. And we've been seeing this for the last couple of years. The Dodgers are just a great team. They find a way to win. They get some of the best players for the positions that they play that fit exactly what the team need. So with the Dodgers, I doubt you're going to have infighting. You're not going to have different staffs trying to make the other staff members look bad. So the pitching coach isn't going to try to make the main manager look horrible. The owners are not trying. I'm a Knicks fan. Well, I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'm from New York, and I see how this dysfunction could work with like the Knicks and Brooklyn Nets and teams like this. But the Dodgers don't have those same issues, man. The Dodgers do not have those same issues. Their coaches aren't going to try to make each other look bad. I'm sure they all speak to each other. They're all adults, man. They're all adults with the one concern of winning. They want to win. And they're a successful staff. Same thing with the Blue Jays. We've seen with them this year. The Yankees, to a certain extent, we get pretty far in the league. Also the Mets, too. Not so much lately, but the Mets have been a successful team in the past. And it's all about teamwork and working together, right? But where I work, man, or where I spend most of my time and doing my business, it's craziness, man. Craziness, yo. We got mad people, kid. Mad people who don't like each other. People who are adults, man. We're talking about 50, 60-year-olds acting like teenagers, man. Acting like this is high school. Don't want to speak to people. They'll say your name, like, hello, B, when somebody else is right next to me and they only saying your name just to make it sure that they not saying hi to the person next to you. It's crazy. We got people who act like they don't see you. I mean, it's not good, man. It's just not good. And what that ultimately does is creates a situation where nobody is winning. I thought we was all on the same team, y'all. I thought everybody was on the same team, kid. And they not. They definitely not. We got somebody on the check-in. Let's see who we got. We got Eddie Trades. He says, start running for donation. He said, start running for donation. He said, wait, never mind. You can't expect super chats. You can't expect super chats. Nah, I don't expect super chats. I don't get super chats. We are trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So my brother Eddie, if you can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That will most definitely be, appreciated. Would I sprint? Nah, I ain't sprinting in the morning. I would if this was later on throughout the day, because I do work out. You feel me? I like playing baseball. I play basketball. I do that type of stuff. So one day I might bring y'all along with me when I'm in that gym doing what, I need to do. And in that case, I would do some sprints for you. But not right now, brother. Not right now. So yeah, man, we all supposed to be on the same team, all supposed to be trying to do the same goals, get the same thing that happened. But nah, man, it ain't like that, man. It's definitely not like that. And I noticed, you could be great at what you do, man, because there's a lot of people that's great at what they do. However, the biggest thing that's going to play into your success in an organization is how well you play with others, man. It's really how well you play with others. Speaking of the Dodgers, I watched Mookie Betts make a great diving play. And he's not the greatest outfielder. He is a good outfielder, and he does his thing. But there's better outfielders out there than Mookie Betts. But at the same time, for the Dodgers and what they needed, he fits that role. So what I'm saying is that you could be great at what you do, but at the same time, if you don't feed into the overall goal of the organization or the overall goal of the department, and you're doing things for personal reasons and selfish reasons, it's going to show. And sometimes that does away from the whole effectiveness of the department. You feel me? The whole effectiveness of the department. So we got, he said, except he's correcting himself. My boy Eddie Trades came back in. I'm in San Jose. He's in San Jose. I know it's beautiful out there in San Jose. It must be beautiful out there in San Jose. You don't get this type of snow that we get out here in New York. And it's a little drizzling today. So that's good because it's going to get a lot of this snow up off the ground. And for New York, we've been having this snow for like 2 months already, man, 2 months. We had a snowstorm in January. At the end of January. And this stuff is still on the ground, my people. I think this is going to be the end of it with this rain that we getting today. It'll be a little bit of snow left, but ultimately it's gone, you know? But let me switch from that. Let me switch from what I was saying. I don't want to get too deep into that. Don't want to make people feel any type of way because I am for the people and I am for getting things together and working together. So we'll move away from that, man. And yesterday, it was a big one, man. We got close to 1,000 people that watched yesterday, yo. And it felt good. But I did make a fool out of myself. Y'all know I'm out here in Long Island, Freeport right now. But Freeport is very close to Garden City. I grew up in Hempstead, Freeport, Garden City, Uniondale, Hempstead, East Meadow, those areas. And I was speaking about the area of Roosevelt Field Mall because we was talking about corn. And one of the people on the show was around my age, and he remember those corn, take the C out and put a P, magazines that they used to have back in the day. And I told them that my first, the first time I got introduced to corn was on those fields. And I was telling y'all how those fields got there. And it's very, very, very interesting New York aviation and Long Island history, man. You know, and I felt bad because I'm talking about the Wright brothers. But what I meant to say was Charles Lindbergh. I mentioned his name, but I couldn't tell y'all exactly why Roosevelt Field meant so much to this country. So Charles Lindbergh is a hell of a dude, man. I think he's from Wisconsin, straight from Wisconsin. Shout out to all my people in Wisconsin, Green Bay, Milwaukee. I've been to Milwaukee one time. Milwaukee was hood, kid, the part that I went to. I was like, Jesus, I'm from New York. And I'm like, you know, I'm going to walk out there and it's going to be sweet. Hell no, it won't sweet out there in Milwaukee. Milwaukee was kind of dangerous, you know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. But I believe he's from Wisconsin and he was a pilot. And what makes it so important, Roosevelt Field, is that he left from Roosevelt Field. I believe his plane was called the Spirit of St. Louis. The Spirit of St. Louis. Somebody else on the check-in, somebody said Lindbergh. Nah, Charles Lindbergh. Maybe I'm saying his name wrong. Somebody said I sound like Denzel Washington. Another one that say I sound like Denzel. And every time somebody say that, I'm going to tell y'all like this, man. You know what? The first time y'all said that, I was kind of tripping. But now, you know what? You right. I do sound like Denzel. And you know what else? I don't give a F. I don't give a F about you. And I don't give a F about Raheem. I ain't SHIT. And you less of a man than me. So as soon as I say you ain't SHIT, pow. So be it. Where that's from? I know I messed up that whole line. That was one of the most iconic lines in the movie Juice by Tupac, the late, great Tupac Shakur. And somebody who they used to say y'all look like back in the day, Mike. Yeah, I always get Mike Epps and Omar Epps mixed up. Y'all do the same thing? Omar Epps. People used to say I look like Omar Epps back in the day, you know? But yeah, thank you. I like when people say I sound like Denzel now. He's one of the greatest actors ever, and he's from New York, you know, straight from New York. So he's a representative of the state. I'm a representative of the state. So y'all already know what's up. Somebody said, they also want to check in. They said, way cooler though. He said I'm way cooler. Nah, thanks, man. Thanks. But I don't think I'm cooler than Denzel. Denzel ain't no joke, man. Y'all see some of the roles that he played? I wish I was that cool. He was Malcolm X, Alonzo. Denzel got some roles on him, man. Denzel got some roles. He played in The Equalizer too, right? That's his movie. He a straight up killer, man. I rock with Denzel. He's one of my favorite actors. Denzel, Morgan Freeman, all of those other type of cats. I love them dudes, man. I love them dudes. Somebody else on the check-in, they said, nah, you look like Mike a crackhead out of Howville and Indy West Side. This is the second person that told me, Mike Epps. Somebody said, I think we was talking about Indiana yesterday too. And somebody was saying that there's a lot of crack. I believe I mentioned Gary, Indiana. And they was like, yo, it's mad crackheads out there in Gary, Indiana. Is it? Anybody from that area know? That's definitely one of the places I want to visit. I definitely want to go to Gary, you know? See how it is out there. I want to go to all the states, man. Every single state, every single city. I know I ain't got enough time left in this world for it, but if I could, most definitely would, my people. Most definitely would, you know? So what was we talking about, man? I completely forgot what I was talking about. Damn, I had a brain fart. Completely forgot what we was speaking about earlier. Somebody else on the check-in, they said, this is why most die. This is why most people die, bro. Bro, why are you outside at 4 a.m.? And I think this is Chicago. Am I right? Just be safe. Somebody said, I'm from Gary, Goofy. Ain't no crackheads, but I live in the suburbs now. All right, he said he's from Gary. Ain't no crackheads out there. I may be mistaken. I think somebody said something about that, but I could be mistaken, you know. Sorry if I disrespected your hometown. Ain't no disrespect, my brother. But I do want to definitely go out there. Somebody else said this is why people get killed out at 4 o'clock. Listen, it's what, 4:46 out here where I'm at in New York. This is Freeport, Long Island. I am on my way to work. I got to catch a 5 a.m. train, you know. So, listen, there's definitely a possibility that something can happen. But again, this area right here isn't too bad. Y'all see over here, it ain't too bad over here. It's a lot of cool people over here. Of course, you got that element of danger. But listen, man, you know, you can't, for me, and again, I don't live in Chicago, so I can't say what happens in Chicago, you know, but I just say for me. And no matter where I lived, I never let the place hold me hostage, you feel me? Of course, I'm not gonna be stupid. I'm not gonna be walking around with chains and acting crazy and wearing gang colors and stuff like that. I don't do that type of stuff. I stay out of that type of lifestyle. I'm just a brother who go to work every day, a brother who like to read, a brother who get up here and talk to you guys. And those elements don't really approach me, you know? I see them, but they don't really affect me, you know what I mean? Like, don't nobody try to rob me or nothing like that. And again, being where I'm at right now, I'm not gonna let the danger in the streets stop me from going to work at 4:30 in the morning. My brother, I got to do what I got to do, kid. Whatever gonna happen, you know? So we got somebody else on the check-ins. They said, the world is dangerous. Look at all the cars. Somebody said, the world is dangerous. Look at all the cars. Somebody said, gangster rap made me do it. Somebody said, Jim Jones is looking for you. He said, did he bring the Kool-Aid? Somebody said, hi, Freeport ain't S-H-I-T. You're fine. All right, so we got a couple people on the check-in. He said, gangster rap made me do it. That's hilarious. Somebody else said, Jim Jones is looking for me. Jim Jones? Which Jim Jones we talking about? We talking about Dipset? That Jim Jones? Jimmy ain't in the streets like that no more, man. You know, I don't think he is. I can't talk for that brother. But that man damn near 50. If he is out there on the streets, I'm like, brother, you got to grow up, kid. You got to grow up, Jimmy. You got to grow up, you know? I know some people out there in Harlem, you know what I mean? I spent a lot of time out there with people from Harlem. Not where he is from, but the part in Harlem I was at, or where I know people at, is crazy because the building that I usually chill at, that's where Alpo got ended at, where Alpo's life ended at. It's crazy because that same night, the person texted me who lives in the building, and she was like, yo, somebody got killed in front of my building. I said, what? Who is it? And she was like, I don't know. She took a picture. She described the person. And I'm like, oh, all right. So that was like in the middle of the night. I woke up that next day, and I heard that he got killed. And I'm like, what? Get out of here. And it just, you know, made me put two and two together. I'm like, yo, that must have been Alpo who that happened to. And they said the block, I think, is 142nd Street and 7th. And she sent me the picture. I told her to describe the person, and that's exactly who she described. So I saw people come on the internet the next day talking about, oh, he ain't get killed and this, that, and the third. I'm like, man, I got firsthand knowledge of this whole situation. I was just laughing, I was just laughing. Somebody came up and said, Mix Master Jim Jones, the preacher from the Colt in the 70s, and he was from Indiana as well. All right, so that's who you're talking about. That's exactly who I was about to bring up next. Jim Jones, Jonestown. And speaking of Jonestown, and Jim Jones and them, when they were selling that pink punch, and knowing the significance of who Jim Jones was and the fact that they did have a lot of black people that it happened to, I was like, how could Jim Jones come out and sell pink punch? You know what I mean? Scissor, I think they was calling it, or something they was calling it. And I'm like, damn, is he playing around with the people? Is he playing around with the people? That was one reason that always took me away from Jim Jones. Then being from New York, you hear stories about Jim Jones. And, I heard about some of the stuff he did on the streets. And it was like, man, this guy, kind of trouble. And again, with the whole thing that happened in Jonestown with Jim Jones, that was a crazy case, man. They got a whole bunch of recordings, voice recordings of things that happened to the people out there. I believe I just saw an interview with one of the survivors of Jonestown. That's crazy. That's definitely a topic that I want to get into later, speaking about cults, because y'all remember the Heaven's Gate cult, where they all had on those Nikes, and they went into that house and ate, I think it was like oatmeal or something that had poison in it, and they all died. And I think I saw that on television when I was young, man. I had to be like 13, 14 years old. And that always stuck with me, to see the faces covered, like the upper bodies covered with quilts and stuff like that. Then the Nikes at the bottom. That's something that burned into my mind. And it's burned into my mind forever. And I do want to get into the mind of someone who would join a cult. I definitely want to do that, you know what I mean? A few people join cults, you know what I mean? Brother Polite and his people. A bunch of stuff, man. But we got 41 people on the check-in, 7 likes. I'm approaching 7-Eleven, and usually that means it's time for me to get up out here. But thanks everybody for the check-in. We're gonna read some comments before we get up out here. Okay. Somebody said, be more goons on the way. He said, Baltimore goons is on the way. That's my next city I'm going to, Be-more. I've been on a tour of all these East Coast cities. We've been to Boston, Jersey, also been to Philly. So Baltimore is definitely my next. Somebody said, Derlink, he speaks like a New Yorker. They only go to school till 4th grade. Look at the mayor of New York City. You're a funny guy. Somebody said, did Aunt Wanda get back with the SIGs? Y'all got jokes today. Apple White, we're crazy. Y'all got a whole bunch of jokes. Somebody said, all right, be careful on the plantation. Y'all some funny dudes today, man. Funny dudes. But I love y'all. Thanks for everybody for checking in. We up out of here. I guess I'll check y'all Monday, because I'm off on Friday and Saturday. I do have to do something tomorrow. I'm going to go to that Strand bookstore. That's one of the biggest bookstores that sell used books and everything. We're going to hop up over there. I might get some footage for you cats, tell you how it been. The Strand. That's the name of the bookstore, The Strand. This spot is official. Y'all been there a few times. But I'm up out of here. Somebody said good night. I catch y'all on Monday, man. Make sure you say, yes, sir. I'm out. Funny dude. All right, I love y'all, man. Peace out. Yeah.